Hi, I'm Jennifer Holcomb, President of the Columbus Chamber of Commerce and Tourism, and I'm thankful that you're watching today. I'm here with Bettina Cox. She is the manager at NC Works Career Center at Southeastern Community College. Bettina is a Columbus County native who has worked for SEC for 9 years, 4 of which are in her current capacity. She manages the daily operations at the NC Works Career Center, oversees the federal WIOA grant for the college, and enjoys making connections between employers and the local workforce. Today, she has some exciting opportunities to tell us for our businesses. Bettina, how's everything going? Tell us first about the Career Center, what you do, and then tell us about the programs you're here to talk about.
Hi, Jenny. Thanks for allowing me to join you today to talk about our NC Works Career Center and some of the interesting things that we can do to connect job seekers to employers. The NC Works Career Center is located on the campus of Southeastern Community College. There are over 80 NC Works Career Centers across the state, and we're fortunate to have the one for Columbus County located on our campus. A lot of folks used to think of us as the unemployment office, but that is no longer the case. Unemployment insurance claims have moved to a location in Raleigh, and it's all done virtually. We like to think of ourselves as the employment office. And again, our sole purpose is to connect job seekers to employers. And so that's what I'm going to talk with you about today is a couple of programs that we have that allow us to do just that. The first one that I'd like to talk about is our work experience program. For participants who are eligible for a work experience, meaning they are eligible through our WIOA grant fund, they can work with an employer for a period of time. During that period of time, we actually pay 100% of the wages. We view this as a training opportunity and use this particular program primarily for our job seekers who don't have a lot of work experience. Maybe they've never worked. We look at our work experience program primarily for entry-level positions. And the work experience program allows the employer to spend some extra time with the new employee with no cost for doing so while they are under that work experience contract. We utilize this a lot with our students here on the college campus. In fact, we have 6 interns that are currently working throughout the college and throughout the community in various capacities, various companies. And so, it's a good opportunity for our students to get some hands-on learning with local employers. And it's a good opportunity for employers to begin to train their own or grow their own local employees. So it's proven to be a win-win. One of the neat things about our work experience program, other than the fact that we pay 100% of the wages, is that we run those employees through a temp agency. So they are covered 100% by workers' comp and general liability, which is very important to a lot of our employers, particularly in the industrial setting where injuries could potentially occur. Although fortunately, we've not had any of those to happen. It's good to know that insurance is there. The second program that we have that's also really interesting is our on-the-job training program. Now, with that program, again, the job seeker must be eligible for the WIOA federal grant program, but the employer actually hires them full-time. They hire them as a full-time employee, knowing that that employee does not quite have all the skill sets that they need. And so the employer, together with us at the NC Works Career Center, put together what we call a training plan. And that training plan is the skills gap, which is the difference between what the employee knows and what you need them to know. And so while the employee is running through that training plan, minimizing that skills gap, we actually reimburse the company up to 75% of the employee's wages. So the employer would go ahead, hire the person just like they would any other new employee. They would pay them just like they normally would. But they would send us documentation of the check stub as well as the timesheet, and then we reimburse up to 75% of those wages. In essence, what we're doing is paying the employer for training the employee, right? So instead of paying for someone to go to college or paying their tuition, we're paying the employer to be the instructor and to teach them what they need to know on the job site. So those are two of our, it's a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity for employers to, again, grow their own and to work with some employees who may not have quite the skill sets they need. And it's a wonderful opportunity for job seekers to gain the skills that they need to be competitive and to be good employees.
How long do each of these programs last?
So it varies. With our work experience, it's slightly different depending on which program with NC Works, which grant program they fall into. With our OJTs, the maximum is 6 months. They typically run around 2 or 3 for both programs, but we look at that on an individual basis because, again, it looks at the skills gap, the difference between what the employee knows and what you need them to know, and that's going to be different for every person.
Can an employee move from one program to the other?
Absolutely, and we encourage that. So let's say, for instance, I started out in a work experience and I was doing an assembler position. I was working in one of our local industries as an assembler. And then I completed my work experience and you wanted to move me to a machine operator. As long as that skill set changes and we can show that and document that and you're teaching them new skills, then absolutely, then we go into an OJT contract where you're starting to teach them some additional skills under that OJT program. So there's definitely a way to marry the two. We just have to make sure that the employee is continuing to learn and grow.
That's amazing. And so you had mentioned the industrial side, and you mentioned, in your scenario, your hypothetical of being a line producer. Are there any other type of industries, retail or clerical, customer care, or anything else that you guys support?
We do. We work with basically any kind of organization, any kind of business. Clerical, definitely. We have some students in the IT industry. We have some folks that are in welding. We have worked with doctor's offices, medical office assistants. So any kind of position where you may need some assistance or are interested in working with some folks that need some training, we can typically help you. One of the things that we do require is workers' compensation for our OJT program.
Okay.
Because that's very important and that is a requirement. So sometimes small businesses may not have that for their employees, but in order to utilize the OJT program, they must.
Is there any expectation or requirement for the employer to then, when the program has elapsed, for them to hire them full-time or to, take them off of that program and they maintain? Is there any contractual agreement?
So with our work experience program, there is no contractual agreement whatsoever. In fact, if you look at it, because we are running the participant through a temp agency, in essence, we're the employer, right? They're just working with you. But it is our hope that you would want to hire them full-time. We want you to want to hire them full-time. In some capacities, particularly with our students, we know that it's not going to be a full-time position once they finish because they are there simply for the experience. They consider it an internship. The employer considers it a way to give back to the community and to teach. And so we know that it's not going to turn into full-time. But then again, sometimes it does. Sometimes job openings happen and it works out. Now with our OJT program, they are a full-time employee before the program ever begins. Before we we are in an OJT, they are your full-time employee. So our hope is that they've done such a great job that you continue to utilize them in that capacity.
Great. And is it always 40 hours? Can they work less or more, or how is that determined?
So with work experience, they can work less than 40 hours. In fact, a lot of our students work about 20, 25. A lot of our, even if they're not our students, even if they are just the general public, a lot of times they'll work 25 to 30 hours. With our work experience, with our OJT, which is on the job training, they typically work 40 hours. We cannot pay overtime. So whether it's a work experience or an OJT, we do not pay overtime, nor can we reimburse on that. But we can pay up to 40.
So explain a little bit. I understand with the on-the-job training that they are actually employed by the employer.
Yes.
So I would understand that the employer would have a lot of say-so to what employee they have, and then they could manage that position. For those employers that are watching that are interested in maybe some of the work experience, how would that work? If they have an employee they're not satisfied with, or if there's an issue, are they, I hate to use the word, but stuck with the employee? How does that work?
No, they're never stuck with the employee. It is always their option to let someone go if it just simply is not a good fit. We, with the NC Works Career Center, we have career advisors. So when someone is in an OJT or a work experience, they are assigned to a career advisor. And one of the things the career advisor does is work with them on some of those job skills or some of those soft skills that a lot of times causes people to be terminated. So what we do ask is, because both of these situations are training opportunities, we ask that the employer get in touch with us and let us know what the issue is. If there's something that we can work with the participant on and help rectify it, we certainly want to do that before they are terminated. But other than that, it is the employee's at the employer's discretion. They are under no obligation.
How would an employer choose the on-the-job experience versus the work experience? You've talked about some of the differences, but how would they choose which program is best for them?
So a lot of times with our work experience, it truly is those entry-level positions. We use that a lot with our youth participants who maybe don't have any work experience at all. With on-the-job training, it's typically a little bit higher skilled worker and a worker for a position that you want full-time and that you're needing to fill. That's really the very subtle difference. It depends on the employer and what their needs are.
Both opportunities sound amazing. And as someone that works with many of our local businesses, I know that finding talent is one of the biggest challenges they have. I hope that if you're watching, if you didn't know about this, I hope you're as excited as I am. What a great opportunity, what a great resource we have in our community to help you get people into your organization, one at a reduced training cost, which is a huge amount of money up front, and one of the obstacles for bringing in new employees. So I hope this is something that you will utilize. How do people find you? Let's give them some contact information. What should they do if they want more information about either of these fantastic programs?
Absolutely. Just give me a call at the college. My direct line is 910-788-6388. And again, my name is Bettina Cox, or you can always call our main number, which most folks in Columbus County know, and ask for Bettina Cox via the switchboard, and they'll be glad to connect you. But I would encourage any business, if you have any questions about this program, think you even might want to be a part of it, to give us a call, because we have some great opportunities.
Bettina, I thank you so much for being with us today. I know that the information has been most helpful. I am so thankful for the work that you do in our community. Bettina also sits on our board of directors and works with us in many capacities to help our business community. So thank you for being with us today, and thank you for all the work that you do.
Thank you, Jenny. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.